Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to my live stream. This is my second try. Something went wrong the first time around. So, welcome to my live stream. Uh, it is 3:06 Pacific Daylight Savings Time in California. I am. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andrei Lefebvre. I am a commercial fleet manager at Pointy Hills Nissan. We're located 16 miles east of downtown Los Angeles, down 60 freeway. Get off on the Susan north side of the freeway. We're going to talk about financing, special financing. I found some great news um, as I was surfing the net on my lunch break. This is from Auto Finance News. This was published on October 31st. Let me read you the lead paragraph. Um, apparently, apparently, Halloween is the new Christmas in auto finance. Yesterday, the Federal Reserve gifted the industry a 25 basis point interest rate cut, the third time the Fed has cut the rates this year. The central bank's benchmark rate now stands at 1.5% to 1.75%. A president like that does not need gift wrapping. Uh, uh, we believe monetary policy. Anyways, what it means is that auto buying rates are falling down. That obviously our industry has 0% rates, but usually it's either rebate or 0%. But in general, it's banks, most of the auto finance, most of the lenders that do business with customers who buy cars don't have their own money. They treat money as any other commodity. They buy it. And without getting into the weeds, what happens is that Federal Reserve, basically a central bank of of our country, creates the money. It's a complicated process, and lends it to large banks, who in turn lend money at a higher interest rates to the smaller banks, and then smaller banks, and to basically to the auto lenders as well. Uh, 0% of the low interest rates that automakers make actually are a factory supported rates. So what happens is that, let's say, Nissan Acceptance Corporation buys money. What did it say? To 1.5%, and then lends it at zero, and they take a loss. They take a loss of 1.5% to sell their customers cars. 0% is historically is a new phenomenon. It came out in October of 2001, right after 9/11, because simply out of business died in September. After 9/11, hardly anybody bought cars. If you were alive back then, you should remember what a terrific impact 9/11 had on all industries. So in October, the auto industry introduced 0% finance, in which October actually was of 2001 was actually pretty good month in my memory. I really have to see how the whole auto industry did, but my personal, it wasn't the better month I ever had because of the low interest rates. Now, uh, I am not worried about people with good credit. People with good credit can obtain finance anywhere they want, and they have a huge windfall because now if they want to finance a car, they're going to pay less interest. But it also affects people with bad credit, and I want to talk about people with bad credit. Um, it is a subject that I went through myself. I went through two really bad divorces, and my credit score both times plummeted. Because if you ever been through a divorce when you're already established and you have children, and you have property, you lose pretty much everything. only lawyers, at least in my personal experience, only lawyers make money on that. So twice I pretty much lost everything and I had to rebuild. So my credit scores plummeted. And it is my first firm believer that people that have bad credit are not bad people. They're not bad people at all. Life happens. Divorce happens. Health issues happen. Bad investments. Sometimes businesses fail. Again, I lived through 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010 with many people who had businesses because economy crashed, and we can argue whose fault it was. In my view, it was just big banks got a little bit too greedy. They got bailed out, and we, the American middle class, never did get bailed out. But be that as it may, that's what happens sometimes. There's no reason to cry over the spilled milk. But I've seen many good people in that period of time who had their own businesses, whose income was cut sometimes by 80, 90%. And they just couldn't pay their bills. So, hey, Andre. Hey, Doug. Welcome to my live stream. So it is not a reflection on a character of a person. At any given time, they have bad credit because, especially entrepreneurs, they invest money, they have ideas, they go at it, and a lot of times ideas are solid. A lot of times they're good managers. Just, I mean, who would have thought in 2007 or 2008 economy is going to go south? Excuse me. Let me fix this. Economy is going to go south. I never knew. I mean, I'm not a real estate person. I didn't know that there was a problem with subprime loans that banks carried. And I remember my personal business went down to 1/3 in 2008, 2009, 2010, but we all survived. So I started about that time trying to get people approved, and I had a good database of people that I've been selling cars to 10 years ago, and I still do. And all of a sudden, I see more and more people that I already sold 2, 3 cars to over the period of my career that did not have the credit to buy. So I had to dig deeper. And somehow, inadvertently, that economic crisis of 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010 taught me many things about special finance. Now, subprime financing is about 30% of my business. I've seen a big change in subprime financing. I don't know what's going on here. You see that little line? Let me just see. Is this any better? No. Interesting. Some reason that green screen behind me keeps on wavering. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So I've seen more and more people. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I learned how to do it, but I've seen a big change the way the banks operate. It used to be you had to build a personal relationship with the buyers at the bank, and you could call them and you could say, "Mr. Joe, hello, remember me from the golf tournament or from whatever meeting we had, please make an exception." That does not happen much anymore, at least not on my level. I mean, that probably happens on with people that are above my pay grade, because I'm a salesman with a title. I'm 3 people rolled into one: a salesman, a finance manager, and a sales manager all into one. I manage myself. How you doing, Casey? So now artificial intelligence is taking over most of the approval process. Many banks give you a little program, little window you can work with, and you can see if you have somebody with credit issues, how much down payment you need to get this person finance. What how much equity they have to have, loan to value, payment to income. It's all automated. Well, it seems to be it's going to be clear cut, but it's not, because everybody's credit profile is different. There are a lot of brainy people. Let's face it, I'm not the brainiest person when it comes to finance, but I'm very good at talking to brainy people who figure out at any given time which banks buy deep. And of course, the algorithms that banks use to buy auto loans, they change all the time. So the idea is there are many very brainy finance directors who spend a lot of time trying to figure out the algorithms of any banks that buy subprime paper. So usually we figure out some of the banks and it changes. Lenders are different. How to submit a deal with the right structure so it will get approved. Now, I don't do anything illegal, immoral, or fattening. We simply pick a vehicle, pick the right down payment, and structure the deal with far as payment and down payment goes, so my customers can get financed. This is a very interesting change from what I remember. You really, it's actually very exciting. You don't rely on personal relationships with the bank buyers anymore, which we used to do in the back. You basically battle on behalf of the customer against the artificial intelligence. Again, there's nothing illegal that's going on. You just find the right vehicle. The best vehicle seems to be for people with subprime credit, the Nissan line is Nissan Sentra. Why? Because right now Nissan has a lot of dealer support. They give for 2019 models, they give Nissan franchises dealer cash, which allows us to be able to sell the vehicle below dealer invoice, which gives the banks, even if people have marginal down payment or no down payment at all, they give them a lot of equity in the vehicle after the vehicle is sold. I mean, I have seen people that I had approvals recently. There was somebody who FICO score and Experian was about 526 or something along those lines. I had one good account, one repossession, and 5 or 6 medical issues, medical collections accounts. I can't remember whether they were open collections or they were gone already, but had only one good account, and that particular bank approved this person, and approved them without, interestingly enough, without proof of income, and the person had a like 5 or 6 year job. Now it doesn't on that one, for some reason we hit the sweet spot on the algorithm. It doesn't mean we're going to do that every time. But even the person just had a two-day job, if person has in their 300s or 400s, has very little or no down payment at all, I would love to see that particular deal. Especially the credit union brokers. If you have somebody that your credit union can finance, I mean, I can't promise 100% I can get them financed exactly how the customer wants, but what do we have to lose? I really like to see if I could see if I can get somebody approved at with the lenders that we use. Now, if I can do it, we have an excellent finance director, and we have many people here with whom I can consult, who can give me a pretty good advice on how to get somebody financed. I can't claim that I am the expert, but there's a team of people at Puente Hills Nissan that can get pretty much. You really have to have somebody's profile to be really bad. I mean, really, there'll be some credit fraud going on the credit report for us not to be able to get somebody financed. And of course, down payment always helps. But if somebody doesn't have a down payment, I'd love to see the deal. I'd love to see the deal. This is my name and number. in my email address. Please contact me if you have any questions. Um, how you doing, Roosevelt? Welcome to my live stream. Um, would love uh, would love to see if we can put together a deal. Anyways, ladies and gents, I gotta get back to work, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.